Thank you, Paul. Into the strains of Pigbag, the players of Middlesbrough and Brighton are currently going through the pre-match handshakes. It is a beautiful afternoon here on the banks of the River Tees. The morning rain has abated and we've got a mild and a fairly still afternoon, Neil Maddison, for Middlesbrough and Brighton to battle it out for a place in the fourth round of this famous Old Cup.
Yeah, perfect conditions, Mark. You said earlier this morning, absolutely teeming down with rain, a little bit of water on the pitch. Perfect conditions for playing football. Looking forward to this one.
Well, Michael Carrick, we wondered, how much would he mess about with his winning formula? And the answer is barely at all. After 3 consecutive championship wins, after 6 wins in the last 7 games, there is just the one change this afternoon. Paddy McNair is back for a first start since the end of October. He replaces Darragh Lenihan in the Middlesbrough defence. Zach Steffen is in goal. The back 4 is Ryan Giles, Paddy McNair, Dale Fry and Tommy Smith. Captain Johnny Howson, as usual, alongside Hayden Hackney in central midfield. Then Riley McGree, Chuba Akpom and Marcus Fors behind striker Matt Crooks. For Brighton, there are 4 changes today made by Roberto De Zerbi, and he's brought back a former Middlesbrough goalkeeper in Jason Steele. 142 Borough appearances made by him before Aitor Karanka let him go. Tariq Lamptey, Jan-Paul van Hecke, Levi Colwill and Pervis Estupiñán at the back. Moises Caicedo and Pascal Gross, the central midfielders. Solly March, Adam Lallana and Karu Maitoma play behind teenage striker Evan Ferguson. Simon Hooper is our referee, and he is just counting up the players, and we're almost ready to get this third round tie underway. And it's Brighton who take the kick-off in their home strip, those blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. They are kicking right to left in the first half, and Borough in their home strip, red shirt, white chestband, red shorts and red socks, are trying to get the ball off them, which may prove to be a difficult job, but not straight away for Chuba Akpom, who's quickly in to win it in the centre circle, and then Estupiñán robs Marcus Fors of the ball quickly. Back to Jason Steele with the ball at his feet.
Does really well, Chuba there. You know, shoulder to shoulder, out muscles the midfield man, gets the ball, tries to play in there. Marcus Fors on this right hand side, but the full back just nips in there and tidies up for Brighton.
Neil Maddison with the expert view. Promotion winner with the Borough in 1998 under Brian Robson. And here's Estupiñán just into the Borough half, left hand side. Brighton try to create something early through the middle. Giles makes a challenge and the ball bounces off him, and Brighton have it back with Solly March out on that far side. It's the first meeting in just short of 5 years between these teams. That was in the FA Cup as well. The 4th round, Brighton came here and won 1-0. Glenn Murray in the 90th minute took the Seagulls through on that occasion. Here's Levi Colwill, the Chelsea loanee, just taking possession on the halfway line, and Borough shuffling across the pitch as it's played into the centre, and Caicedo slipping it through. Lamptey, adventurous play from the right back, trying to get in behind the Borough defence, and he got the final touch as he was challenged by Giles. That will be a Borough goal kick. 2nd minute of the game, and it is 0-0.
Yeah, Lamptey, the full back, the furthest man forward there, just in between Paddy McNair and Ryan Giles. The ball is a good one, doesn't quite get there, and fortunate enough for us, we just clean it up.
So much pace, Tariq Lamptey, as Borough playing it around in a tight area at the back, and a few oohs and ahs from the crowd as Zach Steffen, as is his wont, just slapped it into the feet of Hayden Hackney on the edge of the area. Good control from Hackney, but that Borough move breaks down short of the centre circle. And Neil, this is, I think, what we're going to see a lot of this afternoon. Brighton patient on the ball, even more patient than they were during Graham Potter's time in charge. When you get hold of it, you've got to treat it like a precious pearl.
You're absolutely right. I think in terms of possession, you can see straight away the shape from us sitting in, making it difficult for them, but there's going to come a time where you're going to have to press and try and pinch that ball and break them, as Chuba Akpom did earlier on. But yeah, you're right. I think in terms of possession, you can see Brighton are very comfortable, looking after that ball really well.
Adam Lallana's been brought into the side this afternoon by De Zerbi as here's Mike Toma, the Japan international, and he's going to go past the outside of Smith into the area, cutting in from that left-hand side. Gross back to goal on the edge of the area to Estepinian, the fullback, pressed high up the pitch. He headed out towards the touchline, then turned back in field. Here's Mike Toma back to Estepinian once more. 0-0, 3 minutes gone. Brighton having a lot of the ball in the early stages, and applause from their manager Roberto De Zerbi as they show yet more patience, Neil Maddison, and go back to the centre circle. Now to the right, waiting for the cross to come into the Borough box. There are 4 Brighton players in there. Here it comes now, over Mike Toma's head, and Stefan had been drawn to the near post. It's out to this left-hand side for the Seagulls. Gross just outside the area. Mike Toma turning, laying it off. Lallana turns away from goal. Borough stand firm and push Brighton out once more. But that cross, Neil, that caused a few raised heartbeats at the back for Borough.
I've got to say, Mike Toma, I think if he was half an inch taller, he would have headed that in. He doesn't quite get off the floor to put it in the goal, but straight away Tommy Smith's got a handful on his hand here because he's quick, he's direct, and
he's been beaten once already, Smith. And Smith is forced into a back pass under pressure from Lallana. Stefan looks left to McNair. McNair, the only change to Michael Carrick's lineup this afternoon. He'll be rusty. All he's had since October were a few brief minutes at the end of Borough's 3-1 win at Birmingham on Monday. Howson, lovely ball to McGree in the centre circle. Great touch from the Australian. Challenge comes in on him, and Brighton win the ball back. It was Caicedo who just got his toe end on the ball for the Seagulls. Now Lamptey accelerates into the Borough half. 0-0, early stages of the game. Championship Middlesbrough against Premier League Brighton. 17 place gap between the teams. Brighton looking to set Mike Toma free in some space on this left-hand side, and again he goes past Smith as if he wasn't there. Hackney over on the cover, makes a good challenge, wins the ball, and then unfortunately he sliced it out of play as he looks for Chuba Akpom. That's a Brighton throw-in just past their watching manager Roberto De Zerbi.
Yeah, he said straight away Mike Toma has got the beating of the full back down here, Tommy Smith. He goes past him with ease, gets there, tries to put a ball in the box, but Hayden Hackney comes over, blocks it and takes the ball forward.
But Borough have won it on the halfway line. Akpom will chase the through ball. Colwill shuts the door in his face. Jason Steele, one touch to control and a second to pass it back to his central defender.
And I think that's the avenue of success for us in terms of keeping in good shape but hitting them on the break, trying to keep it nice and tight if we can.
Caicedo, Ecuador international, fresh from World Cup duty, into the feet of Lallana. Brighton looking smooth as they go through the gears. Lallana gets it in the box and then his touch deserts him. Borough win it back in their own area. Akpom will lead the breakout. He's got Crooks to aim for on the right hand side and he couldn't quite get the through ball to him.
That's the one thing I will say, they get forward in numbers, Mark, and they leave that back open a little bit, and if you can pinch that ball and break on them quickly, there's possibly opportunities for us, but at this moment in time, possession wise, it's all Brighton.
Early goals in the FA Cup third round to tell you about in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Accrington have just scored at Boreham Wood. Burnley have gone in front at Bournemouth, and it's Chesterfield 0, West Bromwich Albion 1 as Borough win the ball back just outside their area. Stefan, dressed all in light grey in the Borough goal, thumps that long, and he tested out the touch of Estepinian, who controlled well and immediately turns defence into attack. Ball into the feet of Lallana, just off that Borough defence. Estepinian continued his run, but now he'll head for home as the ball's on the far side, the Brighton right. They don't look a team prepared to just fling it into the box willy-nilly, do they, Neil? As a chip ball forward towards Solly March doesn't find its target. Here's McNair on the left-hand side of the Borough area.
Now they move it really quickly. They stretcher as a team as well, Mark, and technically on the ball, all the players are really comfortable as well.
8th minute of the game. It is Middlesbrough 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Here on FA Cup third round. Here's Marcus Forbes, can't hang on to that ball. Lallana, edge of the box, back to Ferguson, a runner from midfield. March arrives, out comes Stefan, makes the initial save. Gross will score on the rebound for Brighton. 8th minute, Brighton go 1-0 up, and that had been coming, Neil.
Yeah, I've got to say, you're right, it's been coming, because possession-wise, they've caused us lots of problems. On the left-hand side, right-hand side and central. The ball is a good one. You see Ryan Giles on that left-hand side talking to Paddy McNair now, but the boy's totally free. Gets a chance. Stefan does really well, makes the first save, but the second one comes up, puts it underneath him, and it's in the back of the net. And to be fair, I've got to say, it's nothing more than they deserve.
Well, the Brighton captain scored at Goodison Park earlier this week as Brighton were 4-1 winners at Everton, and he scored in the 8th minute here at the Riverside this afternoon. Borough's task has just got a whole lot harder, Neil, as you look at a replay of the Zach Steffen save, but he didn't have a chance, did he, on the follow-up?
No, it was Solly Marshall in midfield. He runs from deep, he gets that ball, it's a lovely ball in from Ferguson, the centre forward, and he hits the shot. To be fair, Stefan does really well, makes the save, but the rebound comes up and he puts it in the back of the net. And you're right, listen, they've been the better side possession wise, but also as well, they've got him behind us with ease.
And from the restart, Brighton have won the ball back quickly. Good work from Smith and Howson to combine on the right hand side. Akpom finds himself out on the right wing, advanced position in the Brighton half. Now Borough go back to Dale Fry. A rare spell of possession for Michael Carrick's team here, who find themselves 1-0 down 9 minutes into this game. Howson just keeping it moving to the right of the centre circle, back to McNair, and he'll shift it right to Dale Fry, looking for options further forward as Chesterfield equalise at home to West Brom. Now Stefan just getting the ball short of the edge of his area. Michael Carrick went strong for this game, Neil. He'll be waiting to see his team start to play in the fashion that he's used to.
To be fair to Brighton, they're a good football inside, but also as well, they don't have work hard off the ball. They squeeze you, they press you, they put you under pressure in terms of when you're on the ball, and they make you pass it quickly. And they put you under pressure, make you make mistakes, and you've seen that straight away. When they lose that ball, they try and get it back.
And they've got a good away record as well. The third best away record in the Premier League. Just 3 defeats on their travels, 5 victories. Only Fulham, Brentford and Manchester City have beaten them away from the Amex Stadium. Here's Maitoma. Wide on the left, just feeding it back to Levi Colwill, who's playing left side of central defence. Borough are sitting deep in their half here, waiting for the moment to try and pinch the ball off De Zerbi's side. It's a moment that doesn't present itself too often on the evidence of the first 10 minutes. As Colwill drops back behind the centre circle, invites Borough on. Gross plays it between 2 red shirts. Lallana onto it. Gross out to Maitoma on the left again. Smith backing off into the area. Maitoma lays it off. He'll get it back. Now it's to Lallana, who will go for goal, and he'll hit it straight at Stefan, who catches just short of the 6-yard line.
Yeah, not only are they good in possession, but what they do really well, they get to where they want to go. They get in that 18-yard box, they create space for each other, and there Lallana just opens up, tries to bend it into the far corner, and to be fair, Zach Steffen does really well just collecting that ball.
Decent crowd inside the Riverside this afternoon. Borough put on a ticket offer for today's game, but the majority of fans will not be enjoying what they're seeing as Brighton come once more. Ferguson, he just got caught in 2 minds there on the edge of the area, controlled the ball into him, thought about the shot, didn't take it, and the ball just trickled away from him. Here's Akpom dwelling on the ball on the halfway line, and his pocket is picked by Maitoma. Brighton possession once more. Nearly 12 minutes gone. Brighton leading 1-0, and Borough have yet to fashion an attack worthy of the name.
You know, I said before the game, Mark, and I was talking to Ado in terms of I'm looking forward to watching us, how we set up, how we apply ourselves against a very good Premier League side, but also as well, I was looking forward to watching Brighton, to see what they have to offer, and so far, you know, I'm enjoying watching the way they play football. I think we've got to get a little bit tighter
as the point of attack is switched from right to left. Maitoma takes it down. He's near the corner flag on the Brighton left, and this time Smith is quickly in, not allowing the Japanese international to get at him. Wins it back. Howson lofted ball down the right hand side. Handball appeals against Colwill, but play will go on as McGree wins it. Now Akpom, centre circle, space on the left for Giles. If he puts it into his path, it's a slow ball. Now Hackney feeding it through. Crooks to the byline. Steele blocks the cross out to the edge of the area, and Housen, who doesn't shoot despite the pleas of the crowd. Giles lofted cross, headed down off the post and in. Steele couldn't keep it out, and it's Chuba Akpom who brings Middlesbrough level. The first proper attack of the game from Borough brings a goal. It's Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 1.
And I said the only avenue of success at this moment in time that we were going to get is on the counter, and it happens. You outnumber them. You know, Johnny Housen has a chance to shoot, but he doesn't. He plays it to the left-hand side from the edge of the box. Ryan Giles just floats a ball into the box, and there's Chuba Akpom, heads it down to the far post. Jason Steele, I think, gets something on it. It hits the post, hits Steele again, and goes into the back of the net.
It just, and I mean just, crossed the line, but it was definitely in, and Jason Steele on his return to the Riverside will not keep a clean sheet. And look at that, Neil Maddison. Michael Carrick, amidst the celebrations, is on the pitch giving detailed instructions to Johnny Housen, his captain, and to Matt Crooks, who's been playing as centre forward. Despite the equaliser, he is trying to fix the problems he sees in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, the ball is a good one from Giles. How many times have we seen that? And Chuba gets the ball, hits the post, and then it hits Steele and goes into the back of the net. But in terms of the way you're going to get joy, it's about sitting in, it's about making it difficult for Brighton and picking up runners. But also when you pinch that ball, you have to go with pace, you have to outnumber them and try and hit them on the break. The counter-attack is going to be massively important for us.
Chuba Akpom is on the hottest of hot streaks, isn't he? That's goal 14 of the season for him.
And that's why Premier League clubs are watching him, Mark.
And that's why Borough took up the option on his contract for a further year. So all square at the Riverside in the sunshine, as Brighton will look to get their noses in front once more as they pass it around slowly. First down the right and now across the centre circle to Levi Caldwell. And listen to that noise from the Red faction away to our right. They're bouncing.
Now you look at Lamptey on that right hand side, the amount of times that he's got forward, and don't get me wrong, it can hurt you at times, but also if you pinch that ball, there's a big gap down that side.
Well, Brighton press forward in numbers. Here is Lamptey attacking the 18-yard line. McGree with a challenge. Lamptey went down. Simon Hooper lets play go on again, and it's another Borough break here. Akpom to Crooks, that familiar loping stride out on the left-hand side. McGree going outside him. He'll get the ball now. In comes the cross, and it's blocked at the near post by Van Heck.
Oh, we've got a bit of a game on now, because you know you're hitting them on the break. You get that goal, it gives you a little bit of confidence, and all of a sudden you get a couple of breaks on them. You keep that shape, which is nice and tight, and you pinch that ball and you hit them.
BBC Radio T Sport on FA Cup third round day. Mark Drury and former Middlesbrough midfielder Neil Maddison with your commentary, as Borough have come from behind to level things up here after Pascal Gross's 8th minute goal put Brighton in front. Chuba Akpom's 13th minute header means we're all square at 1 each here at the Riverside. We're on 95 FM, DAB, Freeview Channel 722, BBC Sounds in the UK only, and on BBC 5 Sports Extra. Roberto De Zerbi is hopping up and down in frustration on the edge of the Brighton technical area as Maitoma has found himself infield, and he's found Hayden Hackney making a challenge on him. Borough look for Crooks on the halfway line. In comes the header from Van Heck, and there's the Borough throw-in.
Good shape from the Borough. Good shape, keeping it really solid and tight, and every time you get that opportunity to pinch that ball, you've pinched it and you've broke quickly. We've caused Brighton a few problems, whereas the first 10 minutes it was all Brighton possession based, looking to get in behind us, and they did a few times. They get their goal, all of a sudden you've pinched a goal back and the game's changed.
When I spoke to Michael Carrick on Thursday, Neil, he was talking about the difficulty of getting the ball off Brighton, how they prize possession above all other things, almost more than goals at times, and about the importance of making it count when they do have the ball. And we've seen that. This has not been your hell for leather FA Cup third round tie like we had at Mansfield last season. It's been something rather more refined.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think you look at Brighton, and as I said, lovely on the eye,
as Fry hits a long ball down the right hand side, which McGree will chase, and he should get there ahead of Colwill. Back heel from the Australian. Colwill read it, held him off. McGree's thrown himself to the ground as play goes on. Fry tried to get in front of Ferguson, who held him off, and now he's running at McNair inside left channel. Oh, now what's happening? We're offside. Bringing play back for an offside against Evan Ferguson, but that was strong forward play from the teenager. Meanwhile, at the other end of the pitch, Riley McGree is down on the deck holding his right shoulder.
Yeah, just hurt his shoulder there. I mean, the centre half goes into him. Colwell goes straight into him, shoulder to shoulder, hurts Riley there. He's on the ground.
As West Bromwich Albion have scored again at Chesterfield. Chesterfield 1, West Brom 2. Blackpool have gone in front as well at Bloomfield Road. Blackpool 1, Nottingham Forest 0. I'll just use this stoppage as a chance to wish Ruben de Souza Largan a happy 11th birthday. Wow. That is a name to conjure with, isn't it? That sounds like the sort of player Borough should be chasing in the window.
I've got one as well.
Probably from Portugal.
Just quick one. Matty Benson's texts, and he said, happy New Year to Neil and all the lads tuned into the commentary. Can I give a shout out to his little boy Jack? So Jack, I hope you're listening, mate. Which he is still. Which he is. BBC Radio T. And we're all level, Jack.
He's trying to make me redundant.
I'm enjoying the game. It's a good game. It's a little bit of cat and mouse in terms of the way both teams are playing. Borough sat in there making it difficult for Brighton. They're passing that ball around Brighton and getting into good areas and causing you problems, but the one area that we're causing them problems is on the counter-attack.
And down there, near the corner flag away to our left, Neil, in front of the north stand, is Borough's new boy, Cameron Archer, going through a warm-up routine.
You know what? I think this game is actually made for him, because you are counter-attacking on them.
Oh, Crooks is well offside if he chases this ball, which he does, and the flag duly goes up.
And Crooksy is that main one up top, and don't get me wrong, I think in terms of height, and I don't think the height matters in this game, does it really? Because they're not a big side. They like the ball on the floor, they pass it around.
They've got two big central defenders, but that is... And Ferguson's actually not small up front, but you're right, Neil, largely the ball, as Brian Clough would approve of, is being played on the deck.
And Cameron Archer, I think, regarding the counter-attacking play that we've displayed so far in this game, I think he'll come in very handy.
It's Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 1 with 20 minutes gone, and there is a rare duff note from Brighton as far as the passing is concerned. Jan-Paul van Heck hit a big diagonal out to the left, and he thumped it over Maitoma's head for a Middlesbrough throw-in in the right-back position.
I think the game's evened out, Mark, now. You know, at first it was all Brighton, and then all of a sudden they get that goal, and as quick as you like, we get one back with a counter-attack, and it sort of changed the game. Brighton are not having it their own way.
Yeah, it's a lot more balanced now. Yep. As Borough go long, Jason Steele, unfortunate with the Borough goal, wasn't he? The header that hit the post, he couldn't reach, but
it comes back,
it bounces off him, and as try as he might to claw it back from behind the line, he couldn't do so. And here we are with Van Heck just to the right of the centre circle, playing it short to Lamptey, who will float it down the right hand side. That hits the chin of Solly March, and he's held off Giles. And Brighton looking dangerous here. March with Lamptey making the run up from the back. His cross hits Giles, and this will be the first corner of the afternoon.
And they certainly get forward in numbers, Brighton, especially on that right hand side. Lamptey constantly getting forward, you know, overlapping there. He puts the ball into the box, he hit Ryan Giles, and it goes out for a corner ball. But as I said before, in terms of us keeping that shape and hitting them quickly, and especially down Lamptey's side, because there's big gaps down that side.
One each here as Brighton prepare to take this corner. Looks like it will be an outswinger from that right hand side. Oh, it's hit low and flat into the box, and as Ferguson got his foot on the ball, Simon Hooper blows his whistle for some blocking action in the area. That is a Middlesbrough free kick.
Yeah, I think Tommy Smith gets blocked, and the lad is totally free there. So nice to see. Josh Coburn scoring again.
Oh, for Bristol Rovers, they're at Cambridge, aren't they, today?
Yeah, 1-1 it is, and he's got another one.
Yeah, Josh Coburn on loan at Bristol Rovers for the season, going great guns as Crooks flicks on. Here's McGree into the area, going for goal, tipped over the bar by Steele.
Once again, Mark, that right hand side, The gap's there. Crooks gets, I think it's Stefan puts the ball over the top. He does. Matt Crooks wins it. You've got a willing runner in Riley McGree on that right hand side. Lamptey in the centre half, both going for it, totally free, gets a shot up. It's a fantastic save by Steele.
Caicedo was treading water, wasn't he, trying to follow McGree. They're not the hottest on tracking runners, it would appear, at Brighton. Quarter of the game gone, and here's Borough's first corner of the afternoon. Ryan Giles to take it from in front of that pocket of travelling Brighton support. The thunderclap starts behind Jason Steele's goal. In it comes. That one will drop almost on the head of Crooks, but Brighton clear. Hackney in traffic has slipped, and Brighton will break, and they've got numbers. It's 4-2 here. Brighton have got March on this left-hand side. Gets the ball now. Red shirts flooding back. Ferguson, corner of the area. Rolls it back and gets the return ball. He'll take the shot, and Johnny Howson flings himself in front of the ball to make the block.
Hayden Hackney's coming back. I was just a little bit worried there because it looks like he stretched his groin, slipped over. Legs akimbo, and
left wing for Brighton. Mitoma, edge of the area, prods it through, prods it into Smith, and it ricochets to Borough's captain Howson, who will just play for distance. Clears long. Everybody in a Borough shirt was back on the edge of their area.
He's just rubbing his groin there. Hayden Hackney.
Didn't know you were a League of Gentlemen fan, Neil.
Well, no, I'm just saying how it was. He really stretched out there, and
that could have been a career ender, certainly a family ender.
It was a good turn for him as well, but he just slips in the wetness of the grass.
Mitoma moving in from the left-hand side, and as he looked to get away from Smith, he went down. There was a pause as Simon Hooper surveyed the situation, and he blows the whistle for a Brighton free kick, and Tommy Smith is mystified.
Well, Simon Hooper actually goes, when he goes past Mitoma, he goes no foul, and then all of a sudden 2 seconds later he gives that foul. Strange.
Well, it wasn't Tommy Smith, was it? It was Marcus Falls who was the man on the Tommy shoulder of Mitoma. Nevertheless, free kick given just outside the box. It's near the left-hand corner of it. And Zach Steffen is getting his wall built here. It's going to be a two-man wall.
Yeah, it's out wide. I mean, you could say he could go for goal, depending where Steffen is, or does he float this, whip it in?
3 Brighton players lined up just outside the area. Every Middlesbrough defender is in the box. Pascal Gross to take it. He's going to go for goal, and it's punched up and into the air by Steffen. Clearing header by Howson. Hackney nods it down to Giles on the far side, and if Borough play this right, there's a break on. McGree freeing Crooks, inside Caicedo, and wins it back for Brighton. Oh, and as McGree makes the challenge, it just slips away from him and out for the Brighton throw-in. And Matt Crooks has got a problem.
Yeah, he just stretches. Oh, he's got a kick actually. It just looks like he's shin. I thought he stretched there, but he takes a knock on the shin and he goes down. Is anyone going to go on?
No, it doesn't look that way. The Borough medical staff are ready, but Simon Hooper standing over Matt Crooks and asking if he needs any help. He's laid flat on his back, like a man who would very much like somebody with a magic sponge to come and pay him a visit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the free kick there. Just a quick look here. He just catches him slightly.
Yeah, Caicedo was the man who slid in and won the ball for Brighton in a key area.
Yeah, the free kick comes in and it's whipped in with pace, but it's towards goal, and Zach Steffen punches away. It doesn't get much on it because it goes in the air, but eventually we clear it down that left-hand side. Unfortunately, the tackle comes in. He's hurt a little bit down there, Matt Crooks, but it's a throw into Brighton on the right-hand side.
Later scores then. It's Blackpool 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Boreham Wood 0, Accrington 1. 1 each between Bournemouth and Burnley. West Brom are 2-1 up at Chesterfield. Goalless between Fleetwood and Queen's Park Rangers. Also Hull against Fulham. Ipswich v Rotherham is 0-0. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 1. Sheffield United second in the Championship and playing a team who are also vying for the playoffs. 1-0 to the Blades at the Den, and it's Shrewsbury 0, Sunderland 0. Applause for Matt Crooks as he regains his feet on the far side. Earlier today, Southampton won 2-1 at Crystal Palace. It was Gillingham 0, Leicester 1. Preston beat Huddersfield 3-1. Reading 2, Watford 0, and Tottenham are through. They beat Portsmouth 1-0. Back underway here at the Riverside on BBC Radio T Sport with the score Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 1, and Fours making a good challenge on Estepinian to win the ball, and then the Ecuadorian put a hand on his shoulder and down goes Fours to win a Borough free kick. And Neil Maddison, since those first 10 or so minutes of Brighton monopolising the ball, Middlesbrough have come into it.
Yeah, settled right down. And they've got a way of playing. They're keeping that shape, as I said, and pinching that ball off Brighton and breaking quickly, and it's causing them a few problems.
Brighton are trying to win the ball inside the Borough half here, but instead Akpom has got a free kick out of Levi Colwill, who's pleading his case with referee Simon Hooper as he jogs back across the halfway line. Possession at the back for Michael Carrick's side here as Stefan takes a touch on the edge of his area. A few oohs and ahs around the West Stand as Lallana was just loitering, cleared his lines, and now at a standstill with his foot on the ball is Levi Colwill. Lamptey again making a run from right back. The ball's played behind him. Now the target is Lamptey. Giles steps in, heads it out of play. He's a real pest, isn't he, down that right-hand side for the Seagulls?
I mean, going forward, he causes problems, but as I said before, if you pinch that ball and you can exploit them quickly, that right-hand side, our left-hand side it's way open, and we've had our joy down there.
Seagulls swooping around over the top of the south stand here at the Riverside as Brighton are just inside the Borough half here and playing it slowly from left to right, and now they may look to come back again. Actually, Van Heck out to the right hand side once more. March on that left foot of his, curling ball towards Maitoma at the back post, arrives, hits into the deck over Stefan and into the net from close range. Brighton have restored their lead, and it's Adam Lallana who scores.
Yeah, it's a great ball into the box over the head of Tommy Smith. Matona comes in, and Lallana, he's totally free. There's actually two of them at the far post, totally free, and I think he just chests it in. It bounces, hit the floor, it loops up, and it loops over Zach Stefan, and it's just waiting to be put in, and Lallana just gets there. It's a little touch. Let's have a quick look now. Lovely ball in. Tommy Smith is central.
Yeah, Tommy Smith has come in field, hasn't he? And Maitoma hung out in the space and right on the goal line.
It's Ferguson and Lallana who can put it in.
Yeah, and it looks like Lallana who's got the final touch, with Ferguson right behind him.
Well, Matona, and the ball just come in. He hits it into the ground. It goes over the head of Zach Stefan, and it is a little chest of Lallana. Back stick. It puts Brighton back in front.
Utterly helpless there, Middlesbrough's keeper, wasn't he, as the ball looped over his head. And now Borough have got to come from behind once more. Here's McGree heading a bouncing ball in midfield. He was looking for Crooks. He found the Brighton captain, Pascal Gross. Half an hour gone, and Borough back behind here. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2.
I think as a team you'll understand that they're a very good side, passing that ball and moving it and getting to where they want to go. They'll cause teams problems, but also as well, when you're on that pitch, you'll understand that there'll be opportunities for us, especially on that counter, because they do plough forward in numbers and they do leave gaps at the back. And
you know something though, Neil, as good as Brighton are, and they are undoubtedly very good, that still feels a really soft goal to concede, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think a little bit too tight. Tommy Smith, you've always got to watch and open up.
Oh, here we go again. Lallana with a cross from the right hand side. He got to the byline and he's played it over the head of Maitoma. Kept in play on the left by Estepinian. Brighton looking to just slide this through into the area. Borough have defended well. Hackney was caught as he carried it away from the box, but the break goes on. McGree down that inside left channel for Crooks. Crooks attacking the defender and going for the far corner with the early finish, but he didn't get enough oomph on it, and he passed it straight to Jason Steele in the Brighton goal.
And just as I said, Mark, before, watching them keeping that shape but hitting them quickly, and they've done it so many times, and you're going to create opportunities that way. But the goal itself, you're right. I think the ball into the box, Tommy Smith is just overcovering Dale Fry. His man is Matoma on this side, and he has to look out for him. It's a good ball in the box, don't get me wrong. He plants that ball into the ground, which outdoes Zach Stefan in goal, and to be fair, Lallana simply puts it in with his chest.
Neil Madison with the expert view. Borough trailing Brighton by 2-1 here at the Riverside, and there are a fair few fans heading for the first half break by the look of it. The atmosphere's gone a bit flat despite the efforts of the drummer in the end away to our right, as Brighton switch it to the left, and Maitoma Square pass infield, goes for the return ball over him. Gross will chase it. Smith will win the race for Borough. Forbes, his touch took him away from his challenger, but his pass is off target. Matt Crooks up front, isolated, and he needs better service than that.
Well, to be fair to Crooks, he stands still. He wants it into his feet, and we all know Crooks, he's not the quickest. He wants it into his feet, and as them run, he'll have them runners off him, which he's got in Chuba Akpon, but Forbes decides to play it down the channel, and there's no chance in getting that.
This is just the third game of Matt Crooks' life as a Borough centre forward, as Estepinian advanced position left hand side. Maitoma onto it in the area, prodded it infield, and Borough cut it out through Hayden Hackney. Now Crooks takes it down well on the edge of the centre circle, but then as the Caicedo was in there on his touch, Crooks slid in, and it was a rash challenge. Caicedo did him a favour by getting up quickly as Simon Hooper waves play on.
He does do well. He comes in late. He doesn't really catch him, but the referee sees it. He knows they've got the ball, and he lets the game flow.
And at the next stoppage, there might be a talking to for Matt Crooks from our referee. Brighton back in their passing rhythm. Here's March. Right wing, McNair has come out of the middle to close him down. Lamptey back towards the centre circle. And Colwill once more. They tire you out not just physically, Neil Maddison, but mentally as well, Brighton.
Yeah.
Lamptey again making a run, and he might take this down on the edge of the area. Headed down, back into traffic. Ferguson was trying to burst onto it. Hackney did well for Borough. That one's bouncing into the Brighton half, and Forbes thought he had a chance of just nicking it in front of Estepinian, but the defender held him off well. And here's Colwill, just short of the centre circle once more. And Michael Carrick down there in that Borough dugout is just stroking his chin and thinking about what he can do to influence the game. As again, Simon Hooper waves play on as a slightly late challenge comes in, this time from Chuba Akpom.
No, I think as players you understand what this game is all about. I think the players will understand that possession-wise they're going to have a lot of the ball, and we have to be careful. We have to stay with runners. We have to pick up better than we have done, especially in that second goal. But they'll also understand that they're going to get opportunities, and they'll get opportunities by keeping your shape and pinching that ball, then making a mistake, ploughing forward, and then gaps appear. You have to go with a little bit of pace to try and outnumber them and create opportunities that way.
There's a red duff note there as Tariq Lamptey played a first-time ball over the Borough defence, and it was a good 10 yards away from Adam Lallana. Middlesbrough goal kick, 10 minutes to half-time here at the Riverside. It's Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 2. Pascal Gross and Adam Lallana with the goals for the Seagulls. Chuba Akpom had brought Borough level at 1 each. He's been tackled on the halfway line. McGree in on Colwill, Smith 2, and that's a Brighton throw-in. Michael Carrick is down there, hands thrust in his pockets, watching Estepinian throw it down to Levi Colwill. Back in that Brighton defence. I mentioned Cameron Archer on the Borough bench today, Neil. One man not on the Brighton bench is Leandro Trossard, and he was given a bit of a hurry up from his manager Roberto De Zerbi earlier this week. He's saying that with all the transfer speculation, you mentioned Newcastle being interested in him, he's got to raise his level, and he's not involved this afternoon.
I think he's a wonderful player. Not surprised that Newcastle and other clubs are monitoring him, because he affects the game in the final third in the right way.
Here's Gross, wide left for Brighton, and again patient stuff from the Seagulls. Borough trying to block all the passing lanes, so they'll just play it in front of them and try down the right hand side. March jinks in field, lays it off to Caicedo. Colwill beyond the centre circle. Borough are being penned in here as Brighton continue to pick the passes. Gross on the left hand side once more. Here's a cross from March, who's come from right to left to get involved. Dale Fry went with him, blocks it out for a Brighton corner.
It's relentless, isn't it? I mean, you switch off.
It's like trying to stop the tide.
Yeah, if you switch off for half a second and you get punished. Now, concentration levels in games like this, you've got to be absolutely at your best.
Fulham have just gone in front at Hull, and Chesterfield have equalised at home to West Brom. It's 2-2 there, as Borough try and keep this one at just 2-1 to Brighton. Corner towards the back post. Stefan got a bit of a bump, and Giles will volley it out to the far side from the Van Heck knockdown. That's going to be a Brighton throw-in. Well, Zach Stefan's looking at the referee Simon Hooper. He's looking at his defenders, but nobody's looking back at him. Brighton's throw-in is taken short, and that patient, slow dance will begin once more on the halfway line with Jan-Paul van Hecke. Borough 1, Brighton 2, 38th minute. What is now a very subdued Riverside Stadium. Here's Caicedo. Lays it off first time. Colwill just inching forward. Now to Mitoma. Starting position wide on the left. Space to attack. Falls was there first. Then Smith arrives. Stretches. Wins a good challenge. Brighton with the throw-in. Level with the 6-yard line.
I'm saying Tommy Smith has had a word with Marcus Forss and saying, listen, you're going to have to double up on him. He's quick, he's aggressive with the ball, he's got past me a few times, I might need your help out. And he has done.
Sent out the SOS, hasn't he, Tommy Smith? Forss has responded. Brighton's pass to the right hand side is straight to Giles. It will be chased by Crooks out on the left, and he'll win a throw-in 5 yards inside Brighton territory. Burnley have gone back in front at Bournemouth. Bournemouth 1, Burnley 2, and Queen's Park Rangers are now winning 1-0 at Fleetwood. Here's Dale Fry at the back for Borough, still wearing that protective mask to protect his fractured eye socket. A back pass and a clearance first time by Stefan. Estepinion's header short of halfway. Gross has put his defenders in a bit of trouble here, and now Crooks is looking at the linesman behind him. He's not offside, and he's waiting for support. Into the box he goes, to the byline, pull back from Akpom, block and a corner off Brighton keeper Jason Steele.
Yeah, good play. I wouldn't say it was counter-attacking, you just pinched that ball high up the pitch, and now Crooks, he's looking to stay onside. He certainly does that. Oh, I don't know, I think he's just offside there.
Well, the linesman was right behind him.
I think he's just offside, but he lets it go. The linesman puts a lovely ball into Tuba inside the 18-yard box. He tries to square it in between Jason Steele and the defender. It's a corner ball to us.
Sheffield United are now 2-0 in front at the Den. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. Ryan Giles to take this corner from the Middlesbrough right. Forss standing in front of the keeper. Here it comes now, dangerous. Headed by Ferguson at the near post. Hackney under pressure on the far side. Smith will have to help him out with a sliding challenge. He won the ball, and he had to, because Solly March was on the break, but now Borough have overplayed it. And it's just gone over the touchline. Brighton throw-in. That's the difference between Premier League and Championship, isn't it, Neil? In the Championship, I don't think Tommy Smith and Hayden Hackney would have got in that mess. The pressure wouldn't be as intense.
The quality on the pitch, Mark. You've seen it in the first half. I've quite enjoyed the game. I've enjoyed at times the way we played. Big switch out
on the right for Brighton. Mitoma's ball out there. Borough flooding back into the box. It's a low ball towards the penalty spot, and a left-footed clearance from Tommy Smith. Crooks has Van Hecke at his back, and he's lost the ball. Yeah, he's got to keep hold of that there, Crooks. He tries to go around the back of Van Hecke, but it's in front of him. Keep hold of it, wait for that support and build from there, but he doesn't. And now Brighton have the ball back. And Fleetwood have just equalised at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Final 5 minutes of this first half. BBC Radio T Sport, Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 2, and Brighton, having regained the lead through Adam Lallana on the half-hour mark, are looking comfortable in possession once more. Mitoma, he just shuffled in field. He didn't run, he didn't walk, it was something in between. Got the ball, Brighton lose it, Borough look to break. Crooks, left of the centre circle, did well to hold it up that time. Giles has arrived, he'll carry the fight to Brighton. Oh, he's played his ball off the heels of Riley McGree, and it's rebounded back to Borough's left back. But in that moment, the blue and white shirts have got back in position. McGree back to Hackney, the game at walking pace. McGree turns, thinks about a little run forward. Instead it's rolled out to the left hand side, and Giles is up against March. Decides not to take him on this occasion. And here's Howson just past the centre circle. Smith in front of the benches, forced back to Stefan, who's a long way outside the Borough area. Yeah, I just thought Marcus Forss could have come off the line there and just received that ball centrally. You know, Riley McGree does it all the time. He's in around the centre circle now. If he's not getting the ball out wide, he drifts in and causes problems. But Forss, he's just sat out here a little bit and being predictable. Some game at Chesterfield where they're now 3-2 in front against West Brom as McGree loses it outside the Borough area. Fry steps in, his clearance is straight to Caicedo. Just under 3 minutes to go until the break here. Lofted ball into the Borough box. Smith chests it down. Estepinian thought he had a chance of reaching it. Zach Steffen drops on the ball on his 6-yard line.
Yeah, Estepinian just gets in front of Fours there, and Tommy Smith's in the box. He doesn't really see what's around him, but he gets enough of that ball. He chests it down to Zach Steffen. He dives on top of the ball because Estepinian's coming in behind him.
Third goal for Championship leaders Burnley at Bournemouth. They lead 3-1 there, the Clarets. Smith at a ball into the chest of Fours, just over the halfway line. In front of the dugouts, challenge comes in. That's a Borough throw-in. Well, Michael Carrick tried a bit of reorganisation, didn't he? Just after Borough had equalised. And he's got a puzzle to solve at the break here. But can Borough make it easier for him as McGree plays a lovely ball down the right-hand side to Fours. Estepinian's backing off, a step over from Fours, goes down the outside, drills it in, and it's out off Gross for a Borough corner.
It's good play from Fours. Gets on the right-hand side, it's a double step over, gets on the outside, and Estepinian who drives a ball near post. Defender comes in, gets a block on it, it's a corner ball to us.
It's on the right, and it's Giles to take it once more. The Red faction on their feet and applauding him every step of the way. We can imagine the noise if Borough draw level here. Brighton have pulled everyone back deep in their area, short of the penalty spot as Giles delivers to the front post. Header away, edge of the area. Hackney, first touch has taken him backwards and the moment has passed. Good ball to the right hand side though, and the corner taker Giles. Final minute of the first half as the cross comes in. Brighton head down. Howson will keep the pressure on. Ball out to the left. Had to fight for it there. It falls into the box, it comes! And it's a comfortable catch for Jason Steele. But that's given encouragement to the Borough fans.
Yeah, and Fours gets the ball on that left-hand side, drives inside, wins the tackle, actually comes inside, and it's sort of a cross-come shot because there's a few players darting in on Steele there, but unfortunately it's a little bit too heavy. Gets to Steele early doors, and he's quite comfortable with the save.
Floodlights are starting to take effect here at the Riverside as the sun dips ever deeper in the afternoon sky. Playing with the yellow FA Cup ball here this afternoon, and it's at the feet of Levi Colwell, who crosses halfway now and gives it to Maitoma. Maitoma to the edge of the box, goes for the return ball, hits it first time, hits it straight at Steffen, and into 2 minutes of stoppage time we go at the end of this first half. Borough trailing 2-1, but Brighton showing there, Neil, the change of pace, the change of tempo that makes them dangerous.
It's a little give and go. Matoma just gives it centrally on this left-hand side, just outside the 18-yard box. It's a set for him because he volleys his pass, he sets it. Ferguson just sets it for him and he just lets his shot go. Doesn't quite get all of it, and it's a simple save for Zach Steffen.
Well, Fry has hooked that ball rather, and he's given it straight to Solly March on the halfway line. Hackney doing really well, but overzealous. A tug of the shirt from the Borough midfielder, and a Brighton free kick taken quickly. Four steps in and gets something on the ball as Pascal Gross turns and again at walking pace assesses his options, finds his central defender Van Heck on the edge of the centre circle. Lamptey down that right hand side. He thought he was lending the ball to Adam Lallana. Lallana thought it was a gift and kept it. Now Colwell, acres of space in front of him, Neil, in the middle of the pitch as Borough are getting ever deeper. Estepinian thinking about a shot from outside the area. Instead it's to Maitoma. Maitoma has gone to ground in the box, and that is frankly a little bit embarrassing from Karol Maitoma. He'd beaten Tommy Smith. Smith stretched and didn't actually make a challenge, and Maitoma just flung himself onto the deck. It's a goal kick and nothing more. I think Simon Hooper has chosen not to make a decision there.
And you know what? He gets past Tommy Smith, and I can't understand why he does go. Oh yeah, I mean that's shocking.
I mean, come on.
Oh, that's shocking.
Honestly,
I mean,
man.
You've seen it on the TV there. He doesn't even touch him, and Matone, to be fair, I mean, he's on an angle, just square it. You've got bodies in the box there, and you could put your team 3-1 up, but he goes to ground. Referees having none of it, and for me, that's a yellow card.
Karol Maitoma, have a word with yourself. Goal kick taken by Smith. We haven't had a booking in the first half. What we have had are 3 goals. 2 of them to Brighton and 1 of them to the Borough. Generous applause as Simon Hooper blows his whistle for the break. The teams head for the dressing rooms with Brighton winning by 2-1. And Neil Maddison, you said you were enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Borough have played their part, but Brighton, well, they look strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think early doors, 10 minutes into the first half, you're watching the game and you're thinking, the first goal comes and you're thinking, wow, this is going to be a long afternoon. But they stuck in, they worked hard, they kept their shape, and I said before, the counter-attacking display might just open the gate for us, because there has been opportunities, especially down their right-hand side, our left-hand side, where Lamptey is bombed forward. There's lots of space down there, and we exploit it really well. The goal comes from Johnny Howson receiving it on the edge of the box. He plays it out to Ryan Giles on the left-hand side. He puts a lovely ball in the box, and Chuba Akpon heads down, hits the post, hits Steele, and goes into the back of the net. But from our point of view, their goals, especially the second one. You know, the second one, it's a long ball over the top. Matoma gets it, he side volleys it into the ground, goes over everyone, Zach Steffen, and there's Lallana just at the back post chesting it in. You've got to stay with runners, you've got to pick up your men. They're gonna have that ball. They're gonna have that ball for long periods and keep it and move it and try and get him behind you. But as we've seen in the first half, we're going to have opportunities of counter-attacking on them and hitting them on the break and creating them opportunities where hopefully you can stick away. But I've enjoyed the game. I've enjoyed the game from their point of view in terms of monopolising that ball, keeping it, moving it, creating opportunities. But I've also enjoyed the way that we played, sat in there, making it difficult at times. The goals, as I said before, could have done better, but the way we've counter-attacked, I still think we'll be a threat second half.
Yeah, lots still to come.
Absolutely, absolutely lots still to come.
Good, half-time here then at the Riverside Stadium. Just on the possession, because we've been talking a lot about the Brighton possession in the first half, 69% to 31, which is no surprise. It doesn't
surprise me. As I said before, I think you're going to expect, they're so comfortable on the ball, the movement. I said before, Lamptey, the right back, at times he's the furthest man forward, and they create overloads, they create opportunities to get down the sides of you. You know, and it's little give and goes, there's little triangles all over the pitch, and you know what, as a football fan, it's lovely to see, but also as well, they leave that back door open. They really do. They're wide open at times, especially when they're attacking, and you know, if you're clever enough and that final ball's right, you can exploit them. And I'm certain Michael Carrick was saying that at half-time. Listen, you're going to expect them to have that ball. Keep your shape. Just open up. I'm not sure he'd be saying to Tommy Smith, open your shoulder. You didn't really know he was behind you. You're square on, you're looking at the ball, you're looking at the man, and before you know it, it's over your head, it's into the ground, it's in the back of the net. You've got to switch on. There's no time. You can't afford to switch off against teams like this, because if you do, you're going to get punished. But as you said, another 45 to come and all to play for.
All right, we will be back with Neil and with Mark, second half commentary very, very shortly. Love to hear your views. David says, decent game. We don't look really out of place, going for 3-2 to the Borough in the end. Ross says we need to get that defence sorted. We're never going to win a shootout here. Fair enough. WhatsApp 08000 321 333 if you would like to WhatsApp me, and you can text 81333 and start your messages with T's. 2-1 to Bryson here at half time. We'll do the rest of the scores in a sec.
Join me for all the best in local music every Thursday and Saturday night from 8. BBC Music Introducing with Shaq. And if you're a local musician, get your stuff submitted. You could be part of the show too. Maybe you'll get picked up by 6 Music. It could even get played on Radio 1. You could get to number 1 and you could be the biggest selling artist in history. But first you have to send your music in. It's dead easy. Just go to bbc.co.uk/introducing and upload your MP3. Then you can join me every Thursday and Saturday night from 8 to see if it gets played. BBC Music Introducing with Shaq on BBC Radio Tees.
Proud to follow the Borough.
BBC Radio Tees Sports.
Half half-time then at the Riverside Stadium, and in the third round of the FA Cup, the Borough trail Brighton at half-time by 2-1.
Marcus Forss can't hang on to that ball. Lallana, edge of the box, back to Ferguson, a runner from midfield. March arrives, out comes Stefan, makes the initial save. Gross will score on the rebound for Brighton. 8th minute, Brighton go 1-0 up, and that had been coming. Now Hackney feeding it through. Crooks to the byline. Steele blocks the cross out to the edge of the area, and Housen, who doesn't shoot despite the pleas of the crowd. Giles, lofted cross, headed down, off the post and in. Steele couldn't keep it out, and it's Chuba Akpom who brings Middlesbrough level. The first proper attack of the game from Borough brings a goal. It's Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 1. Van Heck out to the right-hand side once more. March on that left foot of his. Curling ball towards Maitoma at the back post, arrives, hits into the deck over Stefan and into the net from close range. Brighton have restored their lead, and it's Adam Lallana who scores.
Yes, half-time here. It is Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 2. Full times from earlier in the third round. Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 2. Forest Green against Birmingham was postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Gillingham 0, Leicester 1, Preston 3, Huddersfield 1, Reading 2, Watford 0, and Spurs 1, Portsmouth 0. Half-times, Blackpool 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Bournemouth 0, Accrington Stanley 1, Bournemouth 1, Burnley 3, Chesterfield 3, West Brom 2, Fleetwood 1, QPR 1, Hull 0, Fulham 1, Ipswich 1, Rotherham 0, Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2, and Shrewsbury 0, Sunderland 0. 5:30 kickoffs: Brentford West Ham, Coventry Wrexham, Grimsby Burton, and Luton Wigan. 6 o'clock kickoff, I beg your pardon, Sheffield Wednesday against Newcastle, and 8 o'clock Liverpool Wolves. Half times in League One: it's Bolton 0, Plymouth 0, Cambridge 1, Bristol Rovers 2, Charlton 2, Lincoln 0, and Morecambe 1, Cheltenham 1. And in League Two, full time: Salford 2, Northampton 1, Crewe 0, Wimbledon 0. These are half times. Harrogate 0, Colchester 2, Leyton Orient 0, Doncaster 0, Mansfield 2, Barrow 1, Rochdale 1, Newport 0, and Tranmere 1, Sutton 1. And in National League North, it's AFC Telford United 0, Spennymoor 0, and Darlington 0, Chorley 0.
BBC Radio T Sports.
Okay, this is the first part of our FA Cup third round weekend double on BBC Radio T Sport. Tomorrow afternoon, all eyes will be on Hartlepool United taking on Championship side Stoke City in the third round tomorrow afternoon. Pools have beaten Solihull Moors and Harrogate Town to reach this stage of the competition. And manager Keith Curle's always been a big fan of the Cup as a player and a boss.
I've got good memories, even though I've never got to a final. Got close, semi-finals, quarter-finals, but no, I've been on the other side of it as well when expected to win and didn't. So no, but special occasion.
So you're on the good side of it then, the good side of the fence from that point of view this weekend, are you?
Yeah, definitely. We know, we're playing against a very good team, a very good football club. We're very respectful of them as a football club, but ultimately we think we've got a chance.
So what does this game mean to you in the context of the rest of your season?
Well, again, I think a lot of people have said leading up to the game now that it's a free hit for us because everybody expects us to lose. I see it's a free hit if they don't turn up, but they will do. So it's an opportunity for us to be competitive, which is one of the things that we're trying to be in every game that we play. We want to be competitive. We want to create an identity of what we're about and a playing style and the characteristics that we think will be evident from now till the end of the season about creating that identity that when you play against Hartlepool, you're going to have to work for everything that you get.
Stoke have changed a bit, haven't they, over the years, over the last decade or so? It's not the stereotypical Stoke anymore. No, again, I've played against them, coached against them a few times. Good football club, good foundations. I think they went through a period of time when under Tony Pulis, when they got notoriety of being a long ball, physical team, unattractive team, but they were successful. And I think they've tried to play a different brand of football, but haven't gained the success that Tony certainly brought to them when he was there. So they're struggling a bit in the Championship at the moment. Are you catching them at a good time?
They're a championship football club and they've got championship players. I know some of their players. I think some of their squad players. Phil Jagielka, I gave him his debut in Sheffield United reserves when I went there as a player coach. Harry Smith took him on loan from Arsenal. The goalkeeper Jack Bonham took him on loan to Carlisle. Good players, good professionals, good people as well, which I think is important. So again, they've got a good mixture of experience, youth, enthusiasm, but they've got quality there as well.
So what do you have to do to be successful? What has to go your way? What has to be done right?
Well, the simple terms is we need to put the ball in their net more times than they put it in ours. No, we need to play to our strengths. We need to play League 2 football against a very good Championship football club, and we've got to make sure that everything goes our way, and that means, but to do that, you've got to give yourself an opportunity to stay in the game. So we know that we need to work harder than them. We need to be more competitive in challenges, and those 50-50 balls and challenges, we need to come out on top, and we need to get facing their goal as quickly as we can do as a team.
Will you be throwing Matty Dolan straight in? Because obviously he's arrived this week.
He's cup-tied. He played for, I think he came on for a minute for Newport. So he's cup-tied. The lad's desperate to play. Would have loved to have played, but again, we have to abide by the rules.
You must be very pleased to have him, though, obviously.
Yeah, again, one of the things I've said previously is, and this is just purely my opinion, we need to get back to the DNA of the football club, which is hard-working, committed, with quality, but good understanding of how to win a game. And I think Matty embodies that. He's got a passion for the football club. He's maintained his roots in Hartlepool. He was more than happy to come home, as he calls it, but he hasn't come home for comfort reasons. He's come home because he wants to progress and prolong his playing career, probably well into his mid-30s. You know, he's at a good age now, great experience. He's a good character. He's a leader. He's opinionated, and he's got ability.
Cup ties, cup upsets are often almost about as much what happens in the stands, aren't they, as on the pitch. How important is generating that fabled hostile atmosphere?
We need to get the drum banging in the corner of the stadium, and again, I've noticed it and I've witnessed it firsthand, and we need to help our supporters, which is, and that's about our presentation on the pitch. We need to show that level of commitment, and I know right from day one I've said the supporters got a massive part to play in the journey that this football club needs to go on, and we want them very much to be a part of it, but we understand they thrive on effort, commitment, desire, application, passion, and we've got to show that in abundance, and if we show that, we know that the supporters will stay with us.
And you had to work so hard to get here, didn't you? I mean, bearing in mind the drama of previous rounds, it'd be, you want to make the most of it, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's there to be enjoyed, and again, there's a massive difference between respect and fear. We will be very, very respectful of Stoke and the threats that we think that they can pose, but we're not fearful.
BBC Radio T Sports.
There's Keith Curle, the Hartlepool United manager, talking to Mark. It's Stoke City, the opposition from the Championship, third round of the FA Cup for Pools tomorrow afternoon. 2 o'clock kick-off. We're on just after the news at 1, live from the Vic with all the build-up on BBC Radio T Sport. I want to wish all the best to Finn Walshaw, season ticket holder at the Borough. Looking forward to this afternoon, but he's ill at home and listening to it with us. He hates having to miss a game. Finn, we wish you all the very best. The Smoggy says we're unlucky to be 2-1 down. I thought we're creating well. You can tell the difference in the leagues with Brighton's quality. Carlos says Chuba Akpom's been class again, but I'm sure you said Paddy McNair was in the team. It sounds like any other game this season he's missing. And Mark has been on to us. He wants to pay tribute to Colin Mohan, who died on Thursday after a short illness. Now, Colin was a massive mover in the grassroots football on Teesside. He was one of the founders of Nunthorpe Athletic Junior Football Club and was described as a father figure to many. He's died at the age of 64, and Mark just wanted to mark that and remember Colin. So with fond memories of Colin Moen, who died on Thursday after a short illness. I'm sure he'll be remembered by many people for a long time to come. Our teams are out here at the Riverside for the second half FA Cup third round weekend for a trailing Premier League Brighton as we head into the second 45 minutes on BBC Radio T Sport 95 FM DAB preview 722 BBC Sounds in the UK and on 5 Sports Extra. And we're back with Neil Maddison and Mark Drury.
And we're back with a Brighton change, Paul. There is a World Cup winner on the pitch. Alexis McAllister has replaced the scorer of Brighton's second goal, Adam Lallana. So Brighton have now got Jason Steele in goal, Tariq Lamptey, Jan-Paul van Hecke, Levi Colwill and Purvis Estepinian at the back. Moises Caicedo and Pascal Gross central midfield. Solly March, Alexis McAllister and Kaoru Mitoma behind striker Evan Ferguson. Borough unchanged and getting this second half underway, kicking right to left towards the North Stand and the River Tees behind it. Zach Steffen in goal, Ryan Giles, Paddy McNair, Dale Fry and Tommy Smith at the back, Johnny Howson and Hayden Hackney in central midfield, Riley McGree, Chuba Akpom and Marcus Fours behind Matt Crooks. Here is Steffen on the ball on the edge of his 6-yard area. Borough playing it short to the right hand side. Smith under pressure just hangs on to it. McAllister is in the face of Fry and his clearance is poor. It's straight to Brighton. Here's Gross in the middle of the pitch, 25 yards out into his striker's feet. Ferguson fell backwards and couldn't control. Borough will clear. Neil Maddison, our expert summariser, who spent 20 years as a professional, the majority of them in the Premier League with Southampton, with Middlesbrough. Neil, we'll get your thoughts in a minute as Brighton go long, and there is a good catch from Zach Steffen on the edge of his area. 1 minute of the second half gone and the familiar pattern of the first half resumes.
Yeah, it is that possession base from Brighton, but yet to create a chance. There's only a couple of minutes gone, but I said to Ado, it's still game on. There's still plenty of time to get yourself back into this game, and the one thing I will say is that defensively we've got to be switched on. And I thought the goals were a little bit soft from our point of view, but nevertheless I think on the counter-attacking style that we've shown in that first half, we're more than capable of creating chances.
Darkness has just about fallen on Teesside as McAllister receives the ball in the middle of the pitch. Mitoma helping him out. Gross edge of the area, the ball ricocheting into the box, and it's cleared. A scoop clearance from Paddy McNair, but back it will come again. Caicedo shifting it out left. Brighton have plenty of players in the box to aim for. Estepinian stands it up to the back post, headed down, save a point blank range from Steffen, and by a bit of head tennis, Borough will clear their lines. That was a chance for Brighton to go 3-1 up.
Yeah, it's a standing header as well, and they're difficult to generate the power. He gets a little bit of power around it, but it's straight at Steffen. Steffen sort of parries it away. Ryan McGree eventually launches it down the pitch. Matt Crooks chases after it, but once again Brighton have returned that ball themselves, and it's straight away again in that pattern of play, just keeping hold of that ball and trying to prize us out of that shape.
Michael Carrick is stood down there, arms crossed, looking on and wondering if his team
offside
can keep Brighton out as the offside flag goes up against Ferguson. Can they keep Brighton out and prevent them from scoring again, while also finding some rhythm of their own and some creativity? Jason Steele beaten once so far. I think he's only had one other save to make, hasn't he? That Riley McGree shot that he tipped over the bar.
And it was a great save as well.
Yeah, Jason Steele on his return to the Riverside. He made 142 appearances for the Borough after coming through the ranks and through the academy. Here's Force facing his own goal out on that right hand side. He's laid it off to Akpom, Borough's top scorer. Does well to keep possession, short passing, but Borough going backwards here as Brighton have numbers high up the pitch. They've done well to shift it to McNair, left side of the area. He's gone down as he gets the pass away to Giles. McGree looking for Hackney. Handball claims, not heeded by referee Simon Hooper. Brighton switch from defence to attack. Solly March cutting into the box, right hand side to the byline. A ricochet back onto the Brighton number 7, as McNair made a sliding challenge. Danger averted. It remains Borough 1, Brighton 2. We are just about 4 minutes into this second half as Rotherham equalise at Portman Road. Ipswich 1, Rotherham 1.
Yeah, you've got Matt Crooks up front by himself, and obviously Chuba Akpom is just playing in that deep lying position just behind him, and I've noticed Colwell just advanced on top of Chuba Akpom, not allowing to get on that ball. I think this tactically they've just been aware of he's been getting the ball a little bit too much, and Colwell now steps out and is looking after Chuba Akpom.
Both managers dressed all in black this afternoon, the only difference being the white trainers of Roberto De Zerbi, as he stands just between technical area and touchline, a gap of a couple of yards. Borough in their red home shirts with the white chest band, red shorts and red socks. They're playing it via Zach Steffen to Dale Fry, right-sided centre-back. In steps Van Hecken, pinches it from Matt Crooks. Brighton going right down the middle of the pitch. Ferguson lays it off. McAllister a long way out. He got caught by Hackney. There was a yelp from Alexis McAllister as he hit the deck, and this is a Brighton free kick, dead centre, and it's midway between centre circle and the D on the edge of the Borough box.
It's pretty central, isn't it? A good 40 yards out here. You've got to generate that angle. I don't think it's certainly not shooting distance, but you've got to create that angle to put the ball into the box.
Well, if anyone fancies a shot from here, Neil, then clearly they have an inordinate amount of self-belief. Mind, Alexis McAllister's confidence will be pretty high, won't it, after winning the World Cup?
The only one I can think of that could score from there was Johnny Mettock. Remember him when he was I mean, he could strike a ball.
Giving your age away there, you know. Is that your bus pass you were showing me as well? Oh, well done. Right, free kick for Brighton. They lead the Borough by 2-1. And the man who won the free kick, Alexis McAllister, is the man who is going to take it. And he's going to roll it short. Brighton turn it into the box, and it's a shanked clearance by Paddy McNair. Borough's only changed today in for Darragh Lenihan, as Michael Carrick went for a strong lineup as he tries to make progress into the fourth round of this cup. Estepinian running in behind the Borough defence, and Caicedo is frustrated there that his lofted pass was just in front of his Ecuador teammate. It's a goal kick to the Borough. We're in the 52nd minute on BBC Radio T Sport. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 2.
And Tommy Smith has put his hand up there thinking he's offside. I'm just looking there. I think he's just slightly offside. Maybe the linesman would have put his flag up, but nevertheless it's a goal kick to us.
Borough fans looking to lift the atmosphere a little. Their team need them, don't they, Neil? It's only 2-1 that they trail, but they are...
Yeah, next goal is massively important, isn't
right
it?
now the distinctly second best as far as possession and attacking moments goes, as you would have always expected, really. When the draw was made, you knew that Brighton would come here and dominate possession.
Well, the draw was made, as I said before. Looking forward to watching us how we play ourselves against a Premier League side, but also as well looking forward to seeing Brighton. Yeah, I haven't been disappointed by them. I think they're a wonderful team to watch. They pass the ball really well, but in that first half we did create opportunities against them.
It's 5th in the Championship against 8th in the Premier League this afternoon, as it's chested down on the far side. The Brighton left by Estepinian, back on his feet to receive the ball and then gift it to Maitoma. Plenty of Brighton players in gloves out there, and it's a very mild afternoon, isn't it?
It is.
Turning into a mild evening here on the banks of the River Tees, as Solly March, creator of the second Brighton goal, is teasing Ryan Giles in that Borough left-back position. Brighton, their home strip this afternoon as well. Blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks, as they probe midfield and then go back to the Dutchman Van Heck, just inside the Borough half. How long do you think, Neil, before Michael Carrick sends for his new signing Cameron Archer?
Well, I think they'll give him at least half an hour, I would think.
McNair, a back pass to Steffen as Borough receive the ball just outside their area. Fours backing into Estepinian, and it bounces off the Brighton left back straight to Levi Colwill.
You know why? Because I think he'd cause him a few problems with his pace. We've seen already in the first half, you pinch that ball quickly, you can hit them, especially down their right hand side. There's big gaps that do appear when they go forward if you can pinch it on the counter attack, and certainly He will have opportunities. You would like to think.
Bournemouth have scored again at Dean Quarters. Akpom almost robs Van Heck in a tight area at the back for Brighton, but they've got out, and now the pressure will be on the Borough back line. Maitoma coming in field from a starting position on the left. He's 30 yards out. He's looking for March, who is in space on this right corner of the area, cut out by Giles. McGree will look for Akpom, who's just loitering on the halfway line. Turns into traffic and wins a free kick off Caicedo, who receives the first booking of this game from referee Simon Hooper.
Yeah, he turns into traffic, you're right. There's about 4 players around him there. Turns, try to get away. Caicedo brings him down, and the referee gets the first yellow card out.
I just want to wish Trevor Charville a good afternoon, because he was twisting on recently about us mentioning what the managers are wearing. Painting pictures, Trevor, trying to give you an idea of what the whole thing looks like. Hope you're enjoying the game here with us on BBC Radio T Sport. Here's Dale Fry, still wearing that face mask, of course, after he fractured his eye socket. A kick in the head when Borough resumed their season against Luton after the World Cup. Howson into the feet of Fours, who's wide on the right hand side. Back to Fry once more. Borough's turn to be patient, as we are just seeing Alan Fettis, the goalkeeping coach, summoning one of those Borough subs back towards the bench, who's out warming up. Yeah, and Isaiah Jones is the man that Michael Carrick is sending for. There's the card being handed to the 4th official, Robert Moulden. Brighton have got the ball at the back once more, and that atmosphere that was being generated a few minutes ago has just dipped a little, as Borough need to give the fans something to get hold of, don't they? They've got the ball back again through Riley McGree, and now it's to Stefan just outside his area.
But if you think about the first half, Mark, a lot of our play came down the right hand side because we exploited him in behind. Marcus Fours there just going over the top. Good defending.
Estepinian gets in front of him, passes it back to Jason Steele, who's calm on his goal line and plays it to the edge of the area. Brighton, they will not be rushed, will they, at the back?
No, and I think that's the reason why. You look down their right hand side.
Well, that was a tasty back pass from Solly March, which Steele did well to take down on his thigh.
It's comfortable for Steely, because to be fair, technically he's a great passer of the ball. Yeah, I'm just looking at Isaiah Jones and thinking, can he exploit down this side, or does he go on the right hand side? Because I think both sides do get forward in numbers, and they do leave gaps. Gaps do appear, and if you can exploit that, and Isaiah Jones has got plenty of pace.
Borough pressing, Brighton on the edge of their area, the fans roaring them forward, and there's Fry. He's out on the right wing and he's done really well. A good touch. Crooks up against Maitoma, who's back in position. Lovely ball in field to Howson. Oh, Howson took too long. McAllister robbed him, and Brighton have got Ferguson and March on the shoulder of Borough's defenders as Lamptey charges through the middle of the pitch. Through ball. Ferguson is in here. Ferguson chops back on his right foot, and that gives Smith the chance to make a challenge. Shot coming in. No, it's in the net. And did it take a touch off a Borough man on the way? I think it did. McAllister took the shot, and it's into the bottom right corner. Brighton stretch their lead. It's Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 3, and after coming on at the break, Alexis McAllister has hit Brighton's third.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm sure this takes a wicked deflection, but they break on us, don't they? Because the fans are insisting, get in the faces, get at them. They certainly do, and they win the ball back, but they give it away cheaply, and eventually it falls to...
Shot came in from Estepinian.
Shot comes in from Estepinian, and I think it just goes off McAllister's, isn't it, into the far corner.
It definitely took a touch in the middle of the box.
Yeah,
it's a lovely little flick.
Yeah, it is.
A lovely flick from Alexis McAllister, as changes are on the way for Borough. Duncan Watmore and Isaiah Jones are coming on for Riley McGree and Marcus Fours, and Alex Mort has been readied as well. A triple change here from Michael Carrick. Hayden Hackney is the man he's chosen to be replaced by Borough's number 4. Well, he's got to roll the dice, Neil, because in just over half an hour's time, if things don't change dramatically, Borough will be out of the FA Cup.
Yeah, so the next goal is massively important, and unfortunately for us, Brighton have got that. The task is now to see if you can get yourself back into this game.
As in National League North, Spennymoor have gone behind at Telford. Duncan Watmore is on the deck, couldn't bring the ball under control. Brighton have got it just outside the Borough area. March, central position. Short ball to McAllister, helps it on to Levi Colwell.
It's a lovely goal from McAllister. You've seen it, we've seen it on the TV. We thought he took a deflection, but he means it.
Yeah, and again,
it's a little
nothing
flick.
Zach Steffen can do about it.
Nothing at all. It's a lovely finish.
Here's Van Heck in the centre circle for the Seagulls. 6.5 years since that famous final day of the season. I was going to say the winner takes all clash. Well, Borough didn't have to win. They got the point they needed that day in a 1-1 draw to win promotion to the Premier League. Brighton had to wait a season, but they have prospered since then. Maitoma will just keep this in play, just to the left of the area. Estepinian arriving. This is the space he took the shot from that led to the third goal, and this ball whistles across the face of Zach Steffen's goal and goes wide. It's a goal kick, and that was perilously close to a fourth Brighton goal. They lead 3-1, and we've just passed the hour mark.
I'm just quite sure with that. He ducked there, one of the attackers. I think it's 29. John Paul Van Heck possibly just ducks there when the ball comes in, and he slams his hand in the floor.
It is raining goals at Dean Court. Bournemouth got back to 3-2 down at home to Burnley. The Clarets have just scored again. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 4. Here at the Riverside, Middlesbrough trail Brighton by 3-1. Alexis McAllister is the man who has extended the Seagulls lead. They led 2-1 at the break. Borough,
great play,
have done well here to find Watmore, and his first touch wasn't up to scratch. Van Heck back to Steele. Crooks will pursue that ball as it's into the feet of Lamptey, who slams on the brakes and buys himself time to play it back to his keeper once more. And that is going to be an issue, Neil. You've got to chase the ball, you've got to chase the man in possession at 3-1 down, but Brighton are so good that leaves spaces, doesn't it? That's the risk you have to run.
It leaves spaces, but it also as well, in terms of them getting forward, they get forward in numbers, so they're gonna, it's sort of reversed, hasn't it? The roles have reversed in terms of us. We're trying to press, we're trying to get that ball and pinch it high at the pitch, and all of a sudden they're counter-attacking us, outnumbering us and causing us a few problems.
There's the moon rising over Seal Sands in the distance behind the east stand, looking at a lovely pale orange in the late afternoon sky as Brighton again flicks, short passing just outside their area, and Borough just can't get close enough to win it off them. Caicedo to the centre circle. Neil's turning into a nature photographer here. Got the phone out.
Lovely that.
Well, I'm glad you approve.
It is, you can see straight away, pressing, trying to get near them, but this is where they come into their,
well, they're just completely unruffled, aren't they?
They're just calmness on the ball, and
there's a double change on the way from Roberto De Zerbi. You see Danny Welbeck is one of the men he's going to bring on, and Julio Enciso as well as Mitoma. Lovely touch as he takes the ball down just to the left of the Borough area. He's come in field. He wants to get that ball on his right foot for the shot. The space hasn't opened up yet. Estepinian making a run. Estepinian has to avoid the advertising hoardings as the flick towards him just too far in front of him to control, and that's the chance for the Brighton changers. So Danny Welbeck to come on first of all. Evan Ferguson will make way. That's a straight swap up front from Roberto De Zerbi. Change number 2 sees Caro Maitoma withdrawn. Julio Enciso coming on for him. 18-year-old Paraguayan who cost them $9.5 million. And Maitoma has had a good game, hasn't he, for Brighton, Neil?
Yeah, he's caused some problems. Caused us problems, by the way, on that left-hand side. our right hand side, Tommy Smith, will be thankful to see in the back of him, but he's got someone else to contend to deal with now. And Brighton 3-1 up, looking comfortable.
There's Watmore backing into Lamptey from the goal kick. Again, can't hold the ball up. Borough are really struggling to get hold of the ball and to make a dent in the Seagulls.
You know what, I think you watch the first half and you're 1-1 and it's up to them to come and try and force the issue, and we sat in and...
Smith sees that ball drop over his shoulder and sees... he's chopped in field. Smith left his left leg out there. The Paraguayan's gone down. This is a Brighton free kick just outside the box.
I was just saying we were sat in and make it difficult for them and countering. But now the 3-1 up. The issue is we have to force the issue. We have to get in the faces and try and pinch that ball high up the pitch and counter on them a little bit. But while we're doing that, they're just passing it around and finding them gaps. And there, the ball is a diagonal. One diagonal hurts you. It's right on the corner, left-hand side of the 18-yard box. This is going to be whipped in with a little bit of pace.
Alexis McAllister is the man standing over the ball. Zach Steffen stood a couple of yards away from his near post. Simon Hooper has blown his whistle and McAllister backs away from the ball. A hush around the Riverside. Here he comes now, goes for goal, and that's rippled the roof of the net. Steffen stuck his right hand up in the air, didn't get a touch. That is a Borough goal kick. 20 minutes of the second half gone. Borough 2 goals down. It's 3-1 to the Seagulls.
Yeah, he tries to whip it in that near post there, does McAllister. It's a little bit too high, comfortable for the keeper. And again, he's just squeezing up Dale Fry. He's just squeezing his team up and saying, listen, we might have to just change tack now. We've got to get the ball forward as quickly as possible.
They've got to take a risk, Neil.
Yeah, you've got to take the risk, and it's a one-off game.
There's a shock on at Bloomfield Road on third round day in the FA Cup as Blackpool are now leading Nottingham Forest by 2-0. Once again, from the goal kick, Brighton win possession quickly. Here's Van Heck, back to Steele. He's backing into his 6-yard area, or rolling it out edge of the area. Watmore was interested. Caicedo, cool as you like. Lays it off first time. Now Lamptey herring into space down that right-hand side. Ends up in front of the Borough technical area. Slows it down and whips it in field to Colwill, just short of the centre circle. Borough are working hard, but they're chasing shadows right now. Here's McAllister floating about in the middle of the pitch. March has come in field. It's on his left foot. He's got Gross popping up in the area. His low cross is blocked by McNair. Brighton have won themselves a corner as Fleetwood have now gone 2-1 in front at home to Queen's Park Rangers. And there again was what you were talking about, Neil. Borough pressing, Brighton playing through them. Darlington are losing at home to Chorley in National League North.
And here comes the new boy.
Yeah, Cameron Archer is ready for his Borough bow, but Michael Carrick will wait until this Brighton corner has been taken. It's out on their right-hand side. There's going to be an in-swinger. Steffen was pinned on his goal line, and that's why the whistle was blown by Simon Hooper. As Steffen punched the ball away, the referee motions that his shirt was being pulled. Free kick and a chance for Cameron Archer to make his first appearance in a Middlesbrough shirt. Matt Crooks is the man he replaces. Let us see then what Borough have brought to their squad. On loan from Aston Villa for the rest of the season, Borough's new number 10. And him replacing Matt Crooks there, Neil, I think might be a little portent of the future.
Yeah, I just think this game is made for him, you know, working down the sides, the centre halves, playing to his strengths. He's up there by himself at this moment in time, and you don't want to isolate him. You've got to get bodies close to him. We all want to see what he's capable of doing.
McNair thinking about a back pass. Welbeck knows what he's doing. Safely back to Steffen though from the Northern Ireland International. Jones, we've not seen him in the game since he came on a few minutes ago, and he couldn't get hold of that clearance from Steffen. McAllister back to Van Heck in the centre circle. Borough working hard to keep the deficit down to just the 2 goals at the moment. Watmore had a tug of Solly March's shirt as he ran across the face of the Borough box there. The referee saw it and let it go. Danger still not clear. Gross, right hand side of the area, turns away from the challenge of Giles, and he's dribbling back towards halfway. Here's Van Heck to Colwill. Archer will chase. Brighton, and then Ciso out to the left hand side, and Estepinian hasn't really had to defend much this afternoon. Purvis Estepinian, he's been more a winger than a full-back. And here he is again, back to Colwill, and in the background you can hear the faint noise of the olays of the Brighton fans who've made the difficult journey to the northeast this afternoon, bearing in mind the strikes and the effect of those strikes on the railways.
You know, I said before the game, Mark, I said I was pleased Michael Carrick went strong, and we did. But I also said that it's still a difficult game for us. They're a good footballing side. Any team that comes here from the Premier League, you know what you're going to have to expect. And it's possession-based football. They pass it around at ease. And at the moment, 3-1 up, dragging you out and playing in between you.
And possession with a purpose, Neil, not for the sake of it.
They're a good side.
And here they come again. Brighton clipped into the box. McNair's header from the Enciso cross. And Brighton get the loose stuff.
You know, and at times I've quite enjoyed us, especially that first half. I thought counter-attacking, getting into good areas and creating them problems. But the second half,
it's been Brighton domination, hasn't it? As Welbeck lays it off on the edge of the area. Down goes Caicedo under the challenge of Johnny Howson, and that is a Brighton free kick. And Caicedo is covering his face as he rolls around in pain on the Riverside turf.
And Johnny Howson comes in, wins that ball. Let's have a little look here. I can't see anything.
I think he's saying that it was a hand in the face from Howson.
I can't see anything.
Because it's not his feet, is it? There you go, it's his left hand.
Yeah, he sort of stands on the ball, Johnny, but he leans his body in as he stands onto it and goes into the player. And to be honest, I don't see much in that. I think Johnny wins the ball well there.
The shock is very definitely on at Bloomfield Road, by the way, where Blackpool are now 3-0 up on Nottingham Forest.
Well, but I think you look at Nottingham Forest and their aspirations are staying in the Premier League, and I'm certain they will have made wholesale changes in today's game.
Well, Brighton made just the 4, and it's paying off handsomely for Roberto De Zerbi as it stands. This might be Solly March who takes this free kick from roughly 30 yards out, just to the right of centre. Borough with a 3-man wall. Zach Steffen just off his goal line. Here comes, it's clipped off the post. It was McAllister who took it over the wall and just off the outside of the frame of Borough's goal. McAllister was inches away from making it Brighton 4, Middlesbrough 1.
You know, that's round the wall as well. The outside of the wall, round the wall, hits the near post. Fantastic effort.
Archer's won a free kick here, backing into the defender behind him, and there are a few ironic cheers from the Middlesbrough fans inside this stadium. Well, Alexis McAllister has spent a month or more with Lionel Messi. His dad played with Diego Maradona. He would appear to have picked up a few things. That was a sumptuous free kick. Time running out for the Borough here. It's the 73rd minute. They need 2 goals without conceding in the time that remains, just to force a replay.
You know, it'd be interesting if
just put that one out of play as he looks for Tuber Akpom on the halfway line.
You seen when we got that equaliser that it sort of upset Brighton a little bit, and if you can just pinch another goal, it gets the fans back on side, because at this moment in time the Riverside's a little bit quiet because
there's nothing to shout about.
Yeah, well, there isn't, and it's domination from Brighton. But if you can just get that breakaway and get yourself a goal, you're back in this game possibly. But I've got to say, it's a big if, because at the moment they're in real control of the game.
Lamptey sliding it through for Welbeck. Out comes to the edge of his area Steffen and slides on top of the ball quickly to Moat. He's got Watmore making a run down the left hand side, and Watmore will keep it in play. Gross is backing off, Watmore running at him, slows down as he gets into the area. He can't find a teammate with the pass. Here's Giles on that left hand side. Borough high up the pitch for the first time in what feels like a long time here. Smith in the centre circle, Fry stepping out of defence. Out to the right, Fry continues his run. Jones plays it to Smith behind him. Well, Morse has got to get a wriggle on here as the ball ran across him to keep it away from Welbeck. Did so. McNair to Smith on halfway, but all of those blue and white striped shirts are back in position as Archer lays it off well, goes for the return ball from Howson, and then is cleared out by Van Heck. Good, he slides in. Good tackle from the Dutchman. Archer give it everything. Borough throwing out on the right.
Yeah, good link-up play, Johnny House and Archer. Little 1-2, follows his pass and the tackle comes in. It's the first real bit of possession in the second half, isn't it, that we've had?
16 minutes to go. Borough 3-1 down here on BBC Radio T Sport. And Cameron Archer, their loan signing from Aston Villa, is looking to get in behind that Brighton defence. It's a high line that they hold, but while they hold that high line, they usually have possession of the ball. Borough find Howson in a bit of space there. Out to the right and Jones. Smith going outside him. Jones slowing it down, taking on Enciso. Comes back on himself. He's got two men to beat and he can't do so. Enciso gets back at him. And now Estepinian dribbling back towards his goal line. Good header from Gross. Behind Morse, who was trying to win it high up the pitch. McAllister to March. Brighton on the counter. Lamptey giving it everything to get up in support, and as he got a toe on the ball, Giles came across and Lamptey has gone down just outside the area. It's a yellow card for Ryan Giles and a free kick for Brighton.
Lamptey, energetic as ever, gets on the outside and plays a ball, just toe pokes it in front of Ryan Giles. He comes across and he commits that foul. He's just outside the box. And it is just, isn't it? As Spennymoor equalise at Telford in National League North. One each in that game. Ipswich have just gone in front at home to Rotherham. I'll run you through all the FA Cup scores in the 3 o'clock kickoffs after this Brighton free kick. Just watching it again, it's a certain foul.
Well, Brighton, if they were to score here, Neil, would definitely be home and host, if they aren't already. Borough with a two-man wall. The ball is placed just to the right of the area, in line with Borough's 6-yard box. Solly March has stood a step, whips it in, and he's driven it high across the goal, and that's into the third row of the south stand for a Borough goal kick. So FA Cup scores in the 3 o'clock games. It's Blackpool 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Accrington continue to lead 1-0 at Boreham Wood. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 4, and it's Chesterfield 3, West Brom 2. Fleetwood are winning 2-1 at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Fulham 1-0 in front at Hull. Ipswich 2, Rotherham 1. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. And it's still Shrewsbury 0, Sunderland 0. We'll be off to the Stadium of Light in a couple of weeks' time. High noon for the Weartees derby on Sunday the 22nd. Before that, Borough face Millwall here a week on Saturday. Paddy McNair, high hopeful ball forward. Lamptey heads it, it drops just inside the Borough half where March finds Welbeck. Archer chasing the ball, chasing in vain as Brighton just teasing with it, played in front of him, and McAllister sweeps it back from near the centre circle to Jan-Paul van Heck once more. It's been a chastening reminder so far, Neil Maddison, of just how far Borough have to go. They've been fantastic in the Championship. The level they're aiming for is something else.
No, of course it is. It's a different league altogether, the Premier League. It's relentless. The quality in the league is here to see, and they've made 4 changes. You know, Brighton, but there's still a very good side passing it around.
Jones does well against McAllister, covered from Estepinian, and the final touch off a tumbling Isaiah Jones. That's a Brighton throw-in, left-hand side, just inside the Borough half. 12 and a half minutes to go plus stoppage time. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 3.
You know, we had our time last season in terms of the FA Cup, the Manchester United result, the Tottenham Hotspur result here at the Riverside. Whoops.
Oh, gifted to Watmore in the centre circle. Put him in. Help to his right from Akpom. Akpom arriving in the area. He'll go for goal, but he never got hold of it. And it's a daisy cutter straight at Jason Steele.
It's good play from Watmore. pinches the ball, drives forward, sees Chuba Akpom in a hole just on the right hand side, puts him in, but his first touch just slightly puts him away from goal, gets his shot off, and you're absolutely right, doesn't quite get all of it, and it's a simple save for Jason Steele.
Boreham Wood have just equalised at home to Accrington, where it's 1 each. Here's Tariq Lamptey, advanced position wide on the right hand side, just slowing it down for Brighton once more, looking to draw Borough in and then apply the rapier thrust. Van Heck back on halfway, and you can see Johnny Howson just adjusting his socks. Dale Fry taking in big gulps of air at the back. Those players who've been out there since the start, Neil, they've done a lot of work, a lot of chasing, and it's mentally draining as well, isn't it? Having to stay switched on and see where the danger's coming from. So many different directions.
Oh, absolutely. And when you're playing against a side that can pass it like Brighton and keep hold of it, and in the second half especially, they've worn us down.
Here's Gross, low cross. Oh, Brighton fourth. They worked it from left to right. Gross on the byline, pulled it across goal, and it's deflected in once more by Alexis McAllister. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 4. There's no doubt now who's heading for the fourth round.
Yeah, absolutely. I said before, listen, I want to see us compete, I want to see us have a go, but the gulf in terms of the quality from the Championship to the Premier League is there to be seen. You know, and Brighton are playing really well in the Premier League. They've got some talented players, and I think second half they've showed their quality, kept hold of the ball, got the third and sucked us out, because when you get that third and you go 2 goals up, as a team you have to chase, you have to try and go and get that ball, and it's suiting them down to the ground. They've just picked us off and they've been excellent second half.
Time for changes. Middlesbrough swap left backs. Mark Bowler is on for Ryan Giles. Meanwhile, Brighton right course, strong team, are bringing on Dennis Undav and Adam Webster, and they are taking off Pascal Gross, the captain, and who's the other one? Levi Colwill. So we're back underway with Middlesbrough trailing Brighton by 4 goals to 1. Alexis McAllister with his second of the game, both goals in the second half. He came on at the break.
You know, Mark, I'm not too disappointed. We've had our moments in the game, and you know what, you can learn by playing against good sides, and I hope these lads do learn, because they've played against a very good Brighton side, and there's no shame obviously getting knocked out of the FA Cup. It's a one-off game.
There's Bowler, new on the scene, trying to take on Solly March. Back
good
to
ball.
Mort, lovely ball into the box, chested over his own bar there. Was that the first touch for Webster? I think it was. Borough corner.
Tries to chest it into Jason Steele, gets too much on it, bounces off his chest and goes over the bar, and you're right, it's a Borough corner.
He spent too much time on the peck deck as Adam Webster. Powered it over the bar. Third goal for Ipswich. They lead Rotherham by 3 goals to 1. Borough's corner out on the left, Johnny Howson standing over it. Duncan Watmore is just hanging around if he wants to take the short one. Now Watmore, well, he doesn't want to go away, does he? Howson's not interested in giving it to him. Howson towards the penalty spot. Brighton head cleared straight to Mort, and he's going to return it to his captain on this left-hand side. Controlled, crossed, in swinger. Steele came. Van Heck headed the ball from in front of him, and now Brighton will break. It's 3-on-3 here. Estepinian pays the burn from the left back as he runs down the middle of the pitch. Welbeck wanted in the box. He's running offside. It's to Enciso, right side of the area, and caught just beyond the far post by Zach Steffen. Well, it's 4-1 to Brighton as Borough press Neil and try and get a second goal. There's always the chance the margin will grow yet further as Watmore tried to take on Tariq Lamptey in front of the Brighton bench, and Lamptey just whipped the ball off his toe end. Another goal at Blackwell Meadows in National League North, and it's another goal for Chorley. The leaders Darlington losing 2-0 at home there. Here's Van Heck for Brighton. McAllister dropping deep. I think when you play alongside Lionel Messi, Neil, nobody's really going to pay you much attention, are they? But he has shone. since he came on at half-time, Alexis McAllister. His quality's been really apparent, hasn't it? As Brighton are on the edge of the Borough area once more, and Seesaw. Smith closed his space down, the ball broke behind them, and here's Smith once more. Short passing, Moat did well not to pass it back because Danny Welbeck was on him. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 4. Borough heading out of the FA Cup, and heading out of it with a whimper there. Isaiah Jones just took his eye off the ball and went under his boot for a Brighton throw-in. Will this do, Neil? Any damage, do you think, to Borough's Championship promotion campaign?
I just think you reset again. We've said already the Championship is totally different.
Easton from Enciso trying to get away from a sliding Howson. Play's been brought back for an earlier foul. Simon Hooper is just marking a spot about 35 yards out from the Borough goal, possibly a little more, and Alexis McAllister on a hat-trick, remember?
Yeah,
is the man who's going to take the free kick.
I said to you before, Mark, I think you can learn so much from top quality players and top teams, and they've shown second half their quality, and sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and go, unfortunately, we're being beaten by the better side. Brighton
have crossed it through the area to Solly March, rolling his foot over the top of the ball, teasing Mark Bowler. Back to Lamptey, first time cross, and a header out beyond the far post by Enciso. That is a Borough goal kick, and we're about to go into the final 5 minutes here at the Riverside. Borough need 3 goals in 5 minutes plus stoppage time just to force a replay.
Yeah, and I was saying before the game, a lot of people say, well, listen, let's enjoy our afternoon, let's see if we can get a result. If you don't, I'm not too bothered. And that's the way they sit on this game, because they understand that we're playing a good side. Unfortunately, we came up second best. There's no shame in that. Our bread and butter is the Championship.
Brighton might be in again here. Enciso, edge of the area, on his left foot, goes on his right, beats Smith. Good recovery, Tommy Smith, because he turned him like a corkscrew there, did Enciso, and as Smith stumbled, he stretched out his right leg and knocked it off the Paraguayan for a Borough goal kick.
He does really well, does Tommy Smith. He swivels and he goes one way, doesn't he? Wow, he doesn't have to. Well,
he might be seasick after that ball.
Kicks it off the attacker's foot and goes out for a goal kick to us.
Well, Borough heading out of the FA Cup. There may be some solace for Borough fans in the fact that Sunderland have just gone behind at Shrewsbury.
You know what? There's no solace. I think you look after yourselves. You don't worry about other teams. You look after what you do. And at this moment in time in the league, we're ticking along nicely. Said before, it's a different league altogether. It just shows you what you have to bring to the table when you come to the Premier League. It's a tough, daunting league.
And you've got to get there first.
Yeah, and Brighton, to be fair, have been established in the league for a few years now. The ball quality, the recruitment has been excellent. They've sold players, managers have left, and they've replaced them with an even better manager, some will say. So there's no hurt in terms of going out the FA Cup.
A fourth for Blackpool. They lead Nottingham Forest 4-0 as McNair steps in at the vital moment to win the ball on the edge of the area. Akpom pressured by Lamptey. He's lost the ball. He's fallen over wanting a free kick. He's not going to get one. Brighton have got another goal. It's whipped in off the far post by Dennis Undav. And as Chuba Akpom was appealing for a free kick, Brighton played on, and they have hit a fifth. What an afternoon for the Seagulls, and it's a pretty miserable third round of the FA Cup for the Borough.
It is. I think the disappointing thing from our point of view, and I'm certain it'll be Michael Carrick, is the way that we've conceded the goals. I think at times there you've given up. The lad gets a shot off there. Chuba Akpom thinks he's been fouled. I don't think he has. I think they pinched that ball. It goes into the man too easy. He gets time to turn. He's got to be closed down quicker than that. I think it's Paddy McNair, is it?
No, I think it's Dale Fry.
Dale Fry goes over. He's got to get over a little bit quicker there, Dale, and stop that shot getting off. But it's a good finish, and I think from as I said, the manager's point of view, he'll be disappointed with that. Stop them goals going in. Make a better effort in stopping that chance.
And the Riverside is emptying rapidly. What more? He'll chase till the end, come what may. But he was beaten to the ball by Jason Steele, enjoying his return to the Riverside this afternoon. Houghton snaps in and wins it in the centre circle. Archer again tries to thread it through to Watmore, but it's cut out once more by that Seagulls defence. Caicedo to the centre circle, and the 90 minutes are nearly up. A minute and a quarter to go plus stoppage time. Be interested to hear the thoughts of Michael Carrick at full time, Neil, whether he thinks this scoreline is a little harsh or if he has any complaints whatsoever with what he's seen this afternoon. Brighton have got the ball, as they've had the ball for the majority of the game, and they're just keeping it and seeing if the opportunity for a sixth presents itself.
Yeah, that third goal sort of kills you, because then you have to chase the game, you have to go and try and get yourself back into the game, and that's exactly what Brighton want. They want a team pressing because they know they can pass through you, the spaces will appear, and that's what happened to us first half. We get our equaliser because you've got a team that are bombing forward and you pick them off and you do it well, but eventually they just wear you down. Top teams do, and I wouldn't say it's no shame in terms of getting beat here today, but as Borough fans and me personally, I've quite enjoyed watching them play. Yes, I want to see my team win, but as I said before, it's all about the championship. It's all about getting into the playoffs, and this is a one-off game in the FA Cup. Can you get through? If you can't, you concentrate on the league, but I wouldn't be too harsh about it. I just think you've come up against a really good side that have got a little bit of quality in the team.
Mercy has been shown by Simon Hooper because we will play just 1 minute of stoppage time here at the Riverside. Last season, Brighton were knocked out in the fourth round by Tottenham Hotspur, who were beaten in turn by the Borough. I think they will really fancy their chances of a run deep into the later rounds of the FA Cup this season.
I think it's a competition that they possibly will be targeting, Mark. You know, get as further as they can. You know, they're comfortable in the Premier League. Can they go as high as they can in the Premier League? But the FA Cup and the other cup competitions, can they go and have a good run? I hope they do. They're a good side.
For Borough, Millwall await here at the Riverside next weekend. Millwall are heading out as well, 2-0 down at home to Sheffield United in stoppage time. The minute of added time is nearly up here. Brighton have kept the ball for the entirety of the stoppage time, and as a challenge comes in from Tommy Smith, Simon Hooper blows his whistle to bring this game to an end. Last season for the Borough, it was the glory of Old Trafford and of dispatching Tottenham here in extra time in the fifth round. This season they've been taught a little bit of a lesson by Premier League Brighton. It finishes Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 5. Borough are out of the FA Cup, Neil Maddison.
You know what? I think you see the reaction of the fans around us. There's no boos, there's claps, and they understand you've come up against a top side. You know, one game, a one-off game at home, can you cause an upset? Unfortunately, we couldn't. They were too good, especially in the second half. Very good, comfortable on the ball. First half, I thought we played some good stuff. We sat in there, we counter-attacked really well, get the equaliser. Then they get a second goal. Then when the third went in, for me, it was always game over, because they suck you out, they pass through you, and they created opportunities, because you're the team that have to try and get yourself back into the team, and it just shows you the gulf between the Championship and the Premier League. It is absolutely massive.
Well, you can pick the bones out of that one, Borough fans, by chatting to Neil and to Paul Addison.
Yes, we're on until 6. Sunderland have just equalised. Ross Stewart in the 92nd minute at the New Meadows. Shrewsbury 1, Sunderland 1. They could be on for a replay there. Nottingham Forest have got a goal back. It would seem too little too late. At Bloomfield Road, they're still trailing. They trail now 4-1 to Blackpool as the full-time whistles go elsewhere around the country, both in the FA Cup third round and in National League North. Darlington are losing 3-0 at home to Chorley now, and Spennymoor still drawing 1-1 with Telford. The Borough players just heading off the field here. The Brighton players and staff have gone across to take the acclaim of their fans who've made that long 300-odd mile trip up today by hook or by crook, because of course lots of problems with the railways and things, so credit to them, and they've seen their team ease into the fourth round.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at us now and thoroughly enjoyed this afternoon, even though we've been beaten. As I said before the game, I was looking forward to watching Brighton, what they're all about. Made 4 changes, but you know, we've seen a World Cup winner on the pitch, oozing with class. A couple of goals as well. And you know what? I think the afternoon, the result, the goals, maybe you could have dealt with it a little bit better, but in all, our bread and butter is all about the championship and trying to progress in that. And I think with this game, you learn from it. You learn from them, the way they played. You know, in terms of how they played and how they move the ball quickly, their movement. But next week, it's all about Millwall. And you get back down, you reset, you get back down to the nitty-gritty of the championship, and you try and get yourself back on track.
Man of the match?
No, not really. I thought it was tough for us. I didn't think anyone really stood out. I thought it was a tough game for us. I said before, first half, it was about sitting in, sort of keeping your shape and making it difficult for them. They get that goal. The goals, I said, were a little bit sloppy, but you get that equaliser and it sort of evened out a little bit, and you sort of upset the Brighton side. But the second one went in. As soon as the third one in, I thought game over, because they're going to suck you out, and then that's when they will come to the forefront. They'll pass around you and they'll create opportunities, create chances, and they did, and they put the game to bed, early on in the second half. So disappointed, yes, with the score, but I wouldn't say overly disappointed, because you're playing against a good side. And I think also we've got to be gracious in defeat. Congratulations to Brighton. And you know what? I hope they go on and do well in the tournament.
Yeah. All right, a lot still to talk about. We can maybe pick up on some of the things we were talking about before the game as well, in terms of who Borough need to bring in this month, and all the other sorts of debates we were having before kick-off. We are with you until 6, but Middlesbrough out of the FA Cup at the first time of asking this season. There's going to be no Manchester United away, there's going to be no Spurs here, and Josh Colburn's winner, of course, of last season. No similar cup run this time. Brighton will be ball number 2 in the draw for the 4th round after they beat Borough here by 5 goals to 1. We'll bring you all of the scores and we'll get your reaction coming up.